Okay, I just want you to follow along with me what I'm doing here. We're gonna just put in 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. We're gonna put in just 6 straight on shots. Center line, center line, center line, center line, eye line, eye line. Now we're gonna come in. We're gonna just put in the eyes on each of these. And within here, what I want you to do is I don't want you to copy what I do. I want you to just watch me. I'm going to go from this one down to this one. I want you to notice how basically it's just the same, except I brought this eyebrow down, which gives them a different expression and different emotion. Okay, I just did very simple circles and just put in these simple lines that are showing the expression. What I want you to do now is go into your drawings, do the exact same thing as simple as I just did these, and then you're going to take a picture and send it to me. Okay?
Okay. Okay.
So just put it in there, experiment, and see what you come up with. Very good, dude. Very good. Excellent. Okay, so you did that in a matter of, I would say, 10 minutes. So realize how quickly you're able to put that down. When you're drawing, you get your sketchbook out, whatever format you're drawing on. When you're drawing, realize this is a simple exercise you can do, and this is going to relate completely to character animation. And what you do is, how would you go from this expression to this one? How would you make the interaction of it? Well, he's like this. Let's say there's our first one right up here. How would he go into this one? Well, the simplest way I can think of it is he would go, and if you want to draw in the nose and everything, that's fine. But notice all I do is I put in this antic drawing there. And I don't want you worrying about color and everything so much. But that right there, this could be 1, 2, 3. See how it changed? We get the change of expression from number 1 to 3. Well, that's a real simple way of how you could do it. And then what you're going to notice as you keep doing it, you could say, well, what would be another way that he could do it? Here's number 2A. I'm going to try to think of another way he could antic. This will be 2. Maybe comes up a little bit. And right there, that could be from number 1 to B to 3. That can be the change of expression. And you can do that also just like you've done here. You put in a 3/4 view like you did here. Very good. Keep doing that. But the thing I want you to understand is, when you are thumbnailing your scene out and you're doing an acting scene, these are the experimental thumbnails you want to figure out before going into doing your scene. So you don't sit there and you're struggling during the actual process of animation. Again, what I want you to understand, this is what makes traditional character animation. It doesn't matter. I'm not just saying hand drawn. I just mean in that traditional way of Pixar, be it 3D or 2D. This is what makes their films sell is they first figure out a really good story. For instance, Pixar, they will work on their stories. That's where they put most of their time is in the stories. Once they got that done, then it starts going over to the animators, all the other departments, and it goes over to the other departments, and it's you, the animator's job is to make those characters with that story, make them seem like real personalities. And this is exactly what you do when you go from, if you're doing a headshot, you know, a close up, we're learning about emotion and how to get into those, in and out of those poses. It's the same thing if you're doing a mid shot or a long shot. Now you're going to get scenes, Tefik, that are action scenes. There isn't going to be that much to them as far as acting. What we're talking about here is pure acting. If you get a scene of a character way back here and just here's the field size and they're coming through, that's a piece of paper and they're coming through and they just end up going off screen in that direction, it's just going to be that is what is known as an action scene. You know, there's really no personality. The character might just be, you know, like a superhero way back there. We'll say one, two, three, coming through the scene all the way through there, and it could just be a superhero that is just coming straight forward like so. Coming straight forward out of the scene and they're just determined, but they're right there. I can just put in a simple expression and right there I've made it to where it's clear with that expression. If you can see that he's trying to look determined coming through the scene in that direction. So right there I did it in the same way as you had done these. Once you get that figured out, your life is going to be much easier. Okay, can you see how in this, can see how you're putting in more drawing here, right?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. I want you to try to keep it this simple. When you go back, when you go back into Rascal Man, just try to keep it very, very simple. And I know this is, I remember when I was learning this, this was really, I wanted to put in the drawing. I thought I was, you know, failing, even though my teacher was saying to keep it simple like this. I felt like, well, there's no drawing within there. I'm not teaching you drawing right now. I'm teaching you animation, the heart, the core of animation. So in 3D, all you have to do is these little thumbnails like I've been showing here. And but they really understand how to work from one pose into another. And they will do, a lot of them will do thumbnails like so, or they actually what they do is they'll film themselves or their friends performing the scene and they'll use that as reference. Okay, so but the thing to understand is they're having a clear understanding of those principles, and that's why I'm going to keep harping on those principles.
I have a question.
Very good.
Are the shapes are important in the character designs? The shapes.
Yes, it is crucial that you understand that. So I'm giving you Rascal. His shape is very, I'm not saying simple to animate, but his shape is this. I haven't drawn him in a long time. I'm a little bit off there, but there's Rascal right there. Okay. This is his rough shape. I'm going to come in and put in a couple more lines. Now I'm flushing it out a little bit, but I'm not going to go crazy with that. He's a very simple, shape oriented character right there. So there we got Rascal. I'll stop right there. Oh, I can't remember remember the big guy, the other one when he beat him up.
Oh yeah, I remember.
Okay, it was a while back. I can't remember
Mhm.
exactly. Right, as I remember, he was something like this. Okay, we're gonna look at them lined up in this very gestural drawing, side by side. We're gonna look at the shape difference. Let me draw in the one more guy. I'm thinking an abstract way. I'm thinking of pure shapes. Bring his arm here. And we got these three different characters. Okay, all we're going to look at here is these big shapes of the character. I darken them in. We can tell the difference of each character. This one here, he has a belly that's coming down there. That's what makes him different from the other two. Right there. Big head squares off there. This one has the chest coming up. It's up higher right there. Smaller head right there. And Rascal has the biggest head in comparison to the size of his body. But when we color everything in, if everything is shaded in and we squint our eyes, we make everything blurry. And if we stood back 5, 10, 15 feet, if I go way back here and I look at those shapes, I will know which character is which character. Well, here we know it's Rascal.
Mhm.
We'll call this one Bob. We'll call this one Tim. Okay, I come back here, dude, and I look at that. I can squint my eyes, make it blurry. I can just look at those filled in shapes and I know who those characters are from way back there. Why? Because I've changed the shape, and this is the character designer's job is to make all those characters look like they're in the same world, but the designer made it to where those shapes are broken up where you know who is who. A really good, extremely good example of this is from the film Klaus. That character
Yeah.
designer is one of the best I've ever seen. Sergio Pablos had released some of the designs, just as a trailer appetizer to promote the film. And you look at all those character designs and you can see those different shapes. You don't want to get in there and look at all the detail of each character. You do want to do that eventually, but in the beginning, you want to just look at the big shapes. Is at times he'll go like this, put down some shape like that, just out of his experimenting. I just put that down there. I got nothing planned in my head when I do that, when I just put that in there. And then what I'll do as an experiment, as an exercise, I can come in and well, that's an interest. What do I see here? Just the shape. Can I make a character out of this? And I'll just start experimenting. I'll put on a nose right there. I got something to start off with, and now I decide I'm going to give this character very long legs that come down here. And I'm not looking to finalize anything. I'm just experimenting right now. And then he's got a ear up there. Looks like another Wayne drawing. But see, I just put that down there, that first shape down there, and then I started putting in an outline. And now I'm thinking, what's that head gonna be like right there? Well, I'm thinking to myself that this is the body. So the heads, I'm gonna look over here, think about that shape. Again, you can see how I'm just putting down big shapes, experimenting. I'm not sure. Maybe the mouth will be like that. A little ear right there. Maybe the hair will come off like that. And maybe some hair coming out there. And the body comes up there. And I'm experimenting with that. And then right there. Do I want the body just to connect right there? And then this is supposed to be the arm. I'm not sure, but it's supposed to be the arm up there. And this is where I'll play around and maybe put in a little more drawing. And I'll come out and put in this hand coming out pointing. He's coming out that way. And now I'm starting to find the character. And I'll just keep doing that on my sketchbook. I'll just keep playing around with it, see if I like it. What happens if I decide to give him a nose like that? I can go with that. I can change it up. With this character, I was going in, I played around with the nose there. I put in this other hand, but it was from me first doing that one. And remember, when I first did it, I was experimenting. Art is about experimentation. It's
Hmm.
not only academic way of thinking. There are all of these rules of tones and values if that's where you're going. But if you're coming up with creative ideas, it's about experimentation. If you're not willing to experiment and if you always play it safe, you're going to get bored real quick and it's not going to be as enjoyable. You look at all the different artists, I don't care from let's say from Rubens to Jackson Pollock. You look at all those different artists, they had their own way of doing it. The only way they could figure it out was by experimenting and taking chances. Go into your sketchbook, play around, have a good time, put in some, and make your pencil as big as you want. That's the other, you want to experiment with your medium. I'm just putting these down quickly, man. Telling you, I'm not thinking here. Just putting it down, hoping, let's see what happens. Put in these. I'll step back right now, look at them. I want to make sure they're all looking different. So I'll exaggerate something, just pure shapes, coloring it in. They all look pretty different. Okay. You're going to put those in there and come in, fade them down if you're doing it digitally or on your sketchbook. You're going to experiment right there, just putting in a contour line as I'm doing here. If you're drawing on paper, it's fine. Just use the side of your pencil to create those shapes. I don't know what these are.
Hmm.
I'll just keep going like this and follow these steps. Come in there. Okay, now I'm gonna step back, look at it, and think to myself, can I make anything out of this? Now my imagination is starting to run. And I'm looking at this. Do I see anything within these shapes? It's just like when you look up into the sky, you're lying on your back in the park or something. You look up, and you see the clouds. You start to try to see forms or
Yeah.
images within the cloud. You'll be able to do it looking at patterns in folds on clothes or sheets.
Hmm.
And so let's get back to this. So I'm looking here and I'm thinking to myself, okay, what could this be? And I'm thinking, oh, maybe it's just a character that's just kind of standing there, is kind of meek. There, I just came up with a character from out of that shape. You can add on to it. You're not stuck within, the big shape that you put down. You just let your imagination, let the right side of your brain take over, as they say.
Hmm.
There is a book, I don't think it's very popular today, but it's called Drawing from the Right Side of Your Brain, which means trying to loosen up your imagination. The tendency right now has gone back into more academic, which is great, great. But so then I came up with that little character. I can flesh it out later. Now I'm going to look over here. What do I see here? Ah, he's looking kind of angry from what I can see. And I'm going to put in a longer nose like that because I can. I can do whatever I want. And I'll stop right there. And this is drawing from the right side of your brain. This is where you're not worrying. You're not sitting there thinking, am I going to get a F on this or an A? You're not even thinking that. You're thinking, what do I see here? Okay. Well, I'm going to darken that in. Here's the guy. I'm thinking he's got sunglasses on, big chin out there, long neck. I want to make that a little more clear. Okay, that's his hair coming back there. All right, we'll come down there. Hard for me to see anything there, but I'm not going to give up. I'm going
Yeah.
to keep going, see if I see anything there. Okay, I decided just to make a little head there, eyebrows up. Maybe I'll have the tongue come out a little bit more. Simple expressions under a couple lines under the eyes right there. We're learning that as we do our exercises of that. So here's a guy with his tongue out, spitting maybe. What do I say? I always see human figures. My specialty is for sure not animals, but it's great to draw animals. Go to the zoo or draw animals. It's the same thing. And right there. Okay. I'm looking at this. I want to make that a little clear right there. Distinguish it. I started off with those big shapes I created just from my imagination, putting it down and push myself to flush out, see if I can find anything within these abstract shapes, the clouds, the patterns. And I did. I found in each one of them, I did find something. You always will be able to. That's why you got to push yourself. At the end of this, Tefik, you should enjoy it, but you should also be a little tired. You are putting out a lot of energy as you're doing this because when you're forcing your brain to work, be it left side or right side, you're exerting a lot of energy and you should be a little tired, but enjoyable tired. And then you can
Yeah.
take a break, you look at it, you think to yourself, which one do I like? And the one that I'm drawn to personally is that one. Well,
Yeah.
I like that design. It's broken up. The other ones look a little muddied and everything, but that's okay. I'm cool with that. I'm not worried about it. If I hadn't freed myself up, I would have never come up with that design. And